Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be looking at what I have in my camera collection currently at the beginning of 2023 and what I hope to get in 2023 to do videos for you guys and review everything. So I've got my whole selection of cameras to my left here, everything from my first camera up to my current camera, and we're going to look through those, tell you what they are, why I have them, and yeah, we'll go from there and tell you at the end what I'm planning to get next. So let's get into the video now, and we'll start with my Canon EOS 20D, which is my first ever camera. So this is my first camera. This is the first camera I ever had when I started doing photography when I was in college. This is a Canon EOS 20D. So this is an 8.2 megapixel tiny little body, tiny little screen on the back as well, much more different to what most cameras are now, but it was my first camera. It's 5 frames per second, was great for at the time me doing my wildlife stuff, pop-up flash if needed, didn't really ever use that, but had all the different dials so you can kind of start on, I always started on sports mode and then moved to P and then M, and I just used manual all the time from there. I only had one card slot, but when you're learning stuff, you're shooting JPEG as well, it doesn't really matter too much. But that was my first camera. It's the first camera in this collection today. The next one is a bit of a bigger boy. This is the 1DS Mark I. There is a video on this already, so I will link that in the bottom, but this was to start my 1DS side of the collection. I started collecting with 1Ds on their own, and then was like, well, this is technically part of the 1D family, so got a 1DS, but I will link that in the video description below. But a very solid base camera, full frame, so it's not APS-C. It's their first full frame pro camera body that they did, and yeah, really nice solid body. So that's a tiny screen though as well. It's amazing how technology's moved forward and how much smaller this is, even in comparison to the new pro stuff when we get further along. But yeah, that's my 1DS Mark I. So this is the next one. This is the first camera I bought for my collection more than anything else. This is the EOS 1D Mark I. This is an APS-C 4 megapixel pro body camera, 5 frames per second, same back end as the 1DS Mark I because they were around the same time. I believe this came out first, then the 1DS came out afterwards as a full frame version, but it's a bit beaten up, but still completely works. I've got a video on this as well, so I'll link that down below. I will be doing some videos out at zoos on this to sort of show you the image quality you do get from this in a separate video. Same with everything else that we're going to look at today. There will be at some point separate videos. Once we've gone through the collection on retro review, I will go out and take these out with the 300mm, the 500mm, and show you sort of what quality images you can still get from these 20-year-old cameras now. So absolutely crazy. But that's my 1D Mark I. Okay, so this is the next one. This is my 1D Mark II. This is 8 megapixels, 8 frames a second, so doubles up on the Mark I. Still tiny back end, but this came out in 2004. In 2005 they made the Mark II-N, which had a bigger LCD screen on the back, spec-wise exactly the same apart from that screen. But that'll be one of the next cameras that I buy for the collection, will be an N, so I can do a comparison video between the two and show what you do pay the extra. I think it's about £50 more second hand. These are about 150. The two N's are trading sort of like the 200, 220 sort of range. But again, video in this in full description, will be in the description below. So I've done a retro review on this one already, and yeah, that's my Mark II. Okay, the next camera I have is a bit of a jump up. So this is the Mark IV. So we've gone from a 2 to a 4. It's got a few marks on it. This was bought as a secondary camera for when I was shooting a lot more when I had the 1DX, and I bought this as a secondary because it's what I could afford. They're about £400 when I bought them. This is 16 megapixels and 10 frames per second, and is the last APC 1D that the Canon Corporation made. So it's quite cool. I still get out occasionally because you don't get this sort of quality body with APS-C anymore. It's all full frame, and I do love the quality I get out of the X and the X2, but still an amazing workhorse, and I do tend to use it a fair amount still and get some nice shutters on there. It's a very capable camera, and probably one of my favourites, to be honest, besides the X2, which is now my new favourite. Next camera we're looking at is my most used camera. This is my 1DX with 560,000 shutters on it at the moment. This is my most used camera last year, and I've used it for so many years and absolutely love it. This was a big jump up from the Mark IV. Megapixel wise was only 18 megapixels, only went up by 2, but frame second went from 10 to 14, and that was just a major jump for wildlife and sports and stuff, which is what I do a lot of. But you also got live view on this. You could do some minor video recording on there, but it's mainly for stills. I've only ever used this camera for stills, and it is by far one of the best cameras I've ever used. It's absolutely bombproof. So we're on over 500,000 shutters, and still going absolutely like it was brand new. So really good camera for if you're looking for a pro quality camera, but don't want to spend the world. Go 1DX, they're about £800 to £1,000 at the moment. It's an absolute bargain. So my second to last camera is the 1DX Mark II. This is my most recent purchase. It's 20 megapixels, 16 frames a second. It does do 4K shooting as well, but as I'll sort of touch on later, you haven't got a flip out screen. It has got tracking on it, but it's not that useful to sort of film with, because I can't see what's going on unless I had a screen on top. But it is amazing. This thing, the quality of image you can get out of this is huge. Full frame, 20 megapixels is plenty for wildlife. The amount of speed you get on it, you've got a new focusing system inside there, you've got new focus points compared to the 1DX, and I've only taken 6,000-7,000 shots on this so far, but I can imagine next year this is going to be my main go-to camera, and then the 1DX will become the secondary. So I'll be doing a lot more reviews and stuff with this camera moving forward, as it will become my primary camera. Okay, and finally here we have my Canon R7. This is my primarily at the moment video camera, because it's the only one that shoots with 4K and has the IF tracking. So this will be replaced video wise at some point, and then I'll be able to do more content, is the idea, with this camera pairing up with my 300 to 500, everything you guys want to know how they work with the older lenses, and I'm more than happy to do that. I just need to make sure I've got another camera that's capable of doing 4K tracking, and we'll talk about what I'm going to get to replace that in a second. But this is a mighty little camera. It's 32.5 megapixels, APS-C, 15 frames a second mechanical, 30 on electronic shutter. I only use it in mechanical shutter. You've got the flip out screen. I have that when I'm shooting like this. You say battery life, I've got easily 2,000 shots out of a battery and still had about 30% left. So yeah, I think you can get 3,000 pretty easily if you have the screen flipped away and then only sort of view through the EVF, or just flip the screen out just to have a quick look at your photos. The only sort of let down with this camera for me, and why I don't use it as much, is it doesn't seem to shoot very well through glass. It seems to struggle with that side of things, and I shoot a lot through glass at zoos, and it doesn't have a battery grip, so it feels very, very small compared to everything else. If we even compare it to the size of my 20D, you can see straight away how much smaller it is. So I do plan to shoot more on it, especially when I've got the other video camera I'm potentially going to get, so I can use this more and do more videos on it. The plan will be that I'll do more content, more shooting with this, with the old lenses, and show you what quality of photos you can get with an older sort of lens, and just does the IAF work and all the tracking work as it should do with those older lenses attached. So that's the plan with that, but this is my R7 here for you. So that's all the cameras that I currently own, up until my most recent purchase, which is the 1DX Mark II. What do I plan to get in 2023? So one of the first cameras I'm going to be getting in 2023 is the Canon EOS R10, and I'm going to be getting either with the kit lens or the 50mm. and that's going to replace the R7 that I'm recording on as my primary recording camera. Now the reason for that is I want to do more videos on the R7, and as that is my only current camera that can shoot in 4K, I really can't, if anything, keep using this as the camera to record on and do reviews on it, because then I'd have to use this, which is 4K but it doesn't have a flip out screen, so I can't see the content and make sure that it's tracking properly, and it just isn't as sophisticated as the newer mirrorless stuff for video. So first point will be R10, that'll be coming in the next couple of months. From there I'm going to be getting a 1D Mark IIN and a 1DS Mark II, and then if I can warrant it with other things I want to purchase this year as well, including some new lenses and stuff as well for the year, I will try and get hold of a 1D Mark III and a 1DS Mark III as well, and then I'll have all the 1DSs from the Mark I to the Mark III, and I'll have every 1D from the Mark I all the way up to the X2. So the only one I'll be missing from that whole collection is the Mark III, which I personally can't warrant when I could spend that $3.5–4 grand that they're currently trending at on a 200–400 with an inbuilt converter, which is what I really want to get as a lens to as my next big lens anyway. And I want to get the Mark II 300, and also want to get 300mm f4 so I can do reviews against that, and the f2.8 to see if it's worth you paying the extra to go 2.8 or not. And there's other lenses as well, stuff that you guys comment on and say that I should review, and I will look at getting those other things, even third-party lenses like stuff from Sigma. I'll look at getting stuff from there as well, and Tamron, if you want to see it. So if there's anything you want to see come to the channel this year, please leave a comment in the video and I'll add it to my list. I've got a written list and I've got a digital list of stuff I want to buy and stuff I want to achieve in 2023, and I want to review for you guys. So let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, give it a like as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.